who established this system that we're in? And I'm reminded of my childhood. I was often sad, and maybe you experienced the same thing. I was sad that my dad had to leave all the time to work for very long hours. I was sad that Sunday night rolled around, which meant Monday was coming. And Monday through Friday, I was on a tight schedule even as a kid. I have to get up early, go to school, sit there most of the time, be very bored, then immediately go into scheduled activities till the late afternoon. And there was only a little time to play and be a child. And that made me sad very often. And I was wondering who made the world that way? Why is it that way? And I know a lot of people felt this way. And I was looking at the grown-ups, speaking from a child's perspective, as they were dreading the work week, and they were complaining about all the things they had to do, and life was so expensive and there was so much work and whatnot. And I was asking myself, well, who made it that way? Why is it that way? Why are most people unhappy? Why do people need to take medications all the time? Why are people fighting with each other? Why are couples not happy? Why are families not together? I had all these questions as a child, and I was wondering who created this world and why don't we make it different? And of course, with these questions didn't go away. As I became older, I had more opportunities to look for the answers. And so eventually, if you really start looking, you discover that it wasn't necessarily us humans who created the system. It doesn't make much sense. But if we think of a species or a group of people or entities that had ulterior motives and agendas, then they might have created a system that is so anti-human. Up until the year 2020, this system provided some sort of stability, albeit people were suffering and depressed, but it provided some sort of stability. You could still lean on it and say, hey, this is set in stone. The stability of that is gone. Because once the lines were moved, once the boundaries were moved, because the world was shut down and closed down and economies were shut down and everything that was unmovable was moved, once that happened, people realized, even if only on a subconscious level, hold on, this is not set in stone. We could do it differently, right? So when this happened, it moved something inside of people that never was fully moved back. It couldn't be. You can't say for generations and generations, this is how the world works. How often did your parents tell you, this is how life is? This is what life is. Deal with it. Suck it up, buttercup. That's life. After you become a cynic, you look to this system and wonder how you might profit from it. And this has been a truth of the perpetrators of this dark cabal. They knew that. So they said by the time that somebody figures out how this system really works, they'll be too busy trying to profit from it, so they won't do anything about it. But what people are discovering is that everything that they've been taught was a lie, and this can be very painful. This is grieving. It's like grieving a relative that passes away. Don't underestimate what that means. When you were taught to believe in the people in the white coats because they know better than you about your body, because they're here to help you, and you discover that it is a systemic scam. Sometimes you just want to go back to the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, whichever decade was your preferred version. And you just want to go back to how cool it was. We didn't have seat belts, and a movie ticket was $1.10, gas was 79 cents, and everything was good. But it wasn't real. And I suggest that we have to help each other through it and remind each other this is not the end. This is the end of the world as we know it, but it's not the end of the human story. It's actually the beginning.